Hi, welcome back to another video, and today I will be talking about the redistricting map that was been proposed by Texas Republicans that could help the Texas GOP and the GOP nationally to add 5 seats in Texas and to cause 5 current sitting Democratic representatives in Texas to lose re-election and within that also their seats. Now this has been a something that's really developing. This map has not been even voted on yet because Texas Democrats refuse to vote on it because obviously they'd lose the vote. And they have left the state actually and went all the way to Illinois. And right now they are with J.B. Pritzker, who has, he is allowing them to stay there. And even paying off their fines, which really incredible thing to see. So as of right now, Democrats seem to be united against opposing this redistricting map. Texas Republicans obviously very frustrated. Some have called to arrest these Texas Democrats who have fled to the state of Illinois. And it is a whole thing that is developing right now, and I assure you that by the time this video is out, much more will be happening. But as of recently, we've also seen that the New York governor, my governor, Kathy Hochul, has announced that she will also be redistricting New York State. This just happened about an hour ago or less. It is huge, because it is New York. It is a state that Democrats usually do well in, especially last year where Democrats were able to pick up some congressional seats, like New York 19 or New York 22. So this was a state also where Republicans, were able to flip some seats when Kathy Hochul performed very, very poorly in her governor election 2022, where Republicans were able to pick up, New York 19 and New York 22. And like I showed you guys before, right, just 2 years later, last year, Democrats were able to flip it back despite, once again losing the House of Representatives to the Republicans. But in 2026, they are looking is looking more and more likely that the Democrats are pretty much guaranteed the House. The Senate, not so much, but the House of Representatives seems to be guaranteed for the Democrats. And obviously the Republicans know that. And they are trying whatever they can to make sure the Democrats don't get their hands in the House of Representatives. Which is why we are seeing this redistrict congressional map being proposed in, Texas Congress. However, it has not been voted on. It has not been passed into law. Nobody has voted on it, not the House, not the Senate, not anything. Which is why the Democrats, the only move they could make, because they'd lose the vote, the only move they could make was to leave the state so the vote would fail. And until those Democrats come back, either are forced to come back or come back willingly, whatever happens, still, there has been no vote on this redistricting map. So, 2 things are going to probably happen here. That being, Democrats either are going to come back, either willingly or forced, or Republicans, are going to have to make some concessions, which I also don't see happening. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this develops. But as of right now, yeah, we are seeing that Texas is looking to, redistrict, especially, 28, and some other Democrat, congressional districts like this one that was won just by 5 points by a Democratic Representative Cooler in the Texas 28th district, just winning by about 5.6 points. Republicans are looking forward to trying to redistrict him and maybe get rid of him so they can gain another seat here, along with this one as well, where, Gonzalez won by 2.6%. Very, very, very close. Republicans are looking to get, to oust him, add another GOP seat, along with some other ones here, that have gone very well for the Democrats, but mostly the 28th District of Texas and also the 34th District of Texas. Republicans are hoping to flip these 2 seats in order to stop the Democrats from retaking the House of Representatives. And it is a dirty game that is, currently being played by both sides. As Greg Abbott is looking forward to, redistricting Texas, Kathy Hochul is now looking forward to redistrict some Republicans, out of here, whether it's going to be Stefanik or Langworthy or Tenney, or any of these other Republicans here, or Lolota, who only won by 10 points, or Gabrino, who won by 19 points. These are Republicans that aren't exactly in safe districts as somebody in Texas, winning by 100 points. Obviously, that guy isn't challenged, so we can, okay, here we go. Sessions by 32 points, or this one, Gonzalez by 24, Arrington by 70, Fallon by 36. So, Republicans in New York are definitely very much more vulnerable as a Republican in Texas. Not just because there's a governor in New York, but because these are, Republican representatives that have won their congressional, districts, like Tenney, like Langworthy, like Stefanik, by a smaller margin than, some Texas Republicans in Texas. And I think that if you are a New York Republican in New York right now, you should be very, very, very concerned. And I think there's going to be a lot of talk within the GOP that if they try to go forward with this, this proposed congressional map in Texas, and then Kathy Hochul fires back in New York, JB Picture fires back in, Illinois, which is also a very, very gerrymandered, state for the Democrats. One of the states for the Democrats that have been gerrymandered heavily, just like Texas has for the Republicans, or especially Florida has been for the Republicans. But if you are a New York Republican, you are going to be very concerned, and there could be talks about, maybe delaying this. Maybe Republicans can make some concessions here, and they can try and convince Greg Abbott and within the other leadership within Texas to not go along with this map. And then in the process, then, Kathy Hochul can, say, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, then, I won't gerrymander the Republicans. And nobody plays dirty. But as of right now, none of that is happening. Greg Abbott is still being defined. He's still looking forward to gerrymander some of these Texas Democrats like Kohler and Gonzalez. And Kathy Hochul is looking forward to maybe gerrymander some New York Republicans, like Langworthy or Tenney or Stefanik. Or some of the, Republicans on Long Island like Lolota, who only won by 10 points. So as of right now, it really is a redistricting battle that seems to only be intensifying even more. And especially with J.B. Pritzker, announcing his gerrymander, we could see other governors, other Democratic or Republican governors, announce more redistricting in response to both Texas and New York. Obviously, Gavin Newsom is also looking forward to gerrymander some Republicans. Maybe some, maybe Riley, who only won by 10 points, or Veldado, who only won by 6 points. Obviously, there was this Democrat that won re-election, so maybe Newsom will try to benefit him as well. Who knows? But there's also, an effort that's being made in California, New York, Illinois, to, gerrymander out Republicans in response to Texas. And if that happens, there could be some other Republican states that gerrymander, the Democrats out. We've already seen Florida do this, barely, Democrats winning here. There are so many Republican, representatives in Florida, and we could see, maybe North Carolina tries it. Well, actually, maybe not North Carolina; they have a Democrat governor, but maybe South Carolina or Virginia before Glenn Youngkin leaves office. Some Republican governors could fight back against this. Could fight back. Obviously, Kentucky isn't going to try this because Andy Beshear is the current governor, but I suspect that many more Republican states and Democratic states are going to be joining this fight, and it's only going to get worse from here, unless there are some concessions, either from Texas Democrats or from, Texas Democrats, or New York Democrats, or, even some Republicans, But for now, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. We are seeing the possibility that 5 Democrats could lose re-election if this map is voted in. But so far, that hasn't happened. We are also seeing the possibility that, some Republicans in New York could be, ousted and voted out if, Kathy Hochul seriously goes through with redistricting, which so far she made a statement today saying that she is going to be doing that. And I suspect Newsom will be doing that as well. He will quickly follow Hochul, and it's only going to get worse from here. So there's so much more to happen. There's so much more to develop. Until then, I will update you guys, but until then, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.